Dear ES and Wesam, you are the winners of the Global Award of 2024. Please tell me, how does this recognition influence your approach to architectural education, of course, but also to your practice?
The award itself is a very special moment because it made us reflect on the trajectory of the projects, the initiatives that we've been doing. And this came through the book that we wrote together. The questions were pushing us to unearth new answers to what we have been doing, and it's almost a decade now. And so that was a beautiful moment for us to understand what we do on education. And I think the main important idea was this thing that has to do with knowledge sharing. And it reminded us with the beginnings of IW Lab when we were engaged very actively with architectural education for children.
Of course. The idea itself is very important for us, getting a global award for our local efforts. And this reminds me of a phrase that say that think globally and act locally. And that's why we're thrilled by this award that provide an opportunity to join the global community and engage in collaborative learning.
How do your educational initiatives, particularly those focusing on transdisciplinary but also transgenerational approaches, contribute to fostering awareness and action towards sustainability in your built environment?
Where we were doing workshops with children in two projects. The first was Ma'bar.
Yeah. And the second one is This Is My City.
Yeah.
What we did, a collaboration with Archi between children in Syria and children in Finland to think about their city and imagine the other side, what could be, and dream about their future of their city.
So perhaps from this, maybe it's the idea of openness to other that we want to enhance in our future work. That is about the local conditions, but also about meeting new people, learning from new people as well.
How do you integrate diverse perspectives and ways of mapping, of understanding, of feeling your environment, and in an expertise that tackles the social, economic, and the environmental issues present in your work, especially in a context like Syria?
The first is that we need to listen a lot, and this is something that we need to cater for listening. We need to observe. We need to accumulate knowledge that is trying to scan in all the aspects that you mentioned. What is it that we have in our cities, in Syria and in the region? Knowledge there has been forever built by by a symmetric perspective, colonialism, and after that we have the states that was built on this continuation of colonialism. So we really lack an honest archive, and we think archives is not only a matter of the past, but it's also the present, how our cities can be archives. And maybe this is the projects, there's something about the projects that we do on observation that talks a lot about this, right? Like the city incarnation and the movies that ES did with many architects and young architects and architecture students. It's about building these archives, right?
It was a stage of our work that we recognized that we should enhance our tools to gain a deeper understanding for our city and diagnosing each aspect carefully and narrating the city and telling story about the city for the residents, about the place that we engage in is the most important to understand.
How does the making, the crafts and the material cultures engage local artisans to tackle environmental issues, promote sustainable building, but also enable a rediscovery of ancient and so actual techniques?
The idea of engaging with crafts, it occurred while I was in Morocco and I was seeing this string threading artisan who was chasing the string in the streets. And I thought, well, of course, I asked him, like, what is it that you do? And he explained to me the tools that he invented with a motor that threads something in the city. And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. I need to tell Iyas about this, because this artisan is using the city as its tools. It's the whole city, the city is his workshop. And so this relationship between the built environment and how crafts dwell and manifests inside of it was super fascinating. Then we started to pay attention that it's also an environmental question, because the resources that we have and what happened in Syria in the last 10 years, it impacted a lot the resources that affected how people live. And you know, we always exchange stories, and you know, like sometimes the food habits re-emerged, food preservation habits re-emerged on a daily basis. Things that has to do with how the sun moves and how people live in their houses, following the direction of the sun to not use as much fuel for heating was also very fascinating. And so we started to think about this and to see what is it that we have with crafts that can tell us about how not to look at them as beautiful objects that we put them in exhibitions and in our collections, but as tools for people to survive. This is, of course, not to say that, or not to spare the responsibility from those who deprived the infrastructure from the people, they derived the people from their infrastructure. It's not at all the reason why we're looking at this, but it's about what the crafts can give to us.
As we always aiming to redefine the role of architecture in our community, the point is about asking the right question, like how can we encourage and convince a rural community to come back in time 10 years back and to their village to do the same pure way of life and reuse their material and their crafts and rebuilding their village.